so lucky we have the best music. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. And my favorite part of the music is what happens before service starts. We get to hear everybody from Cab Calloway, am I right? To Nancy Lamont's music. I'm sort of partial to jazz because my dad was a jazz musician. Huh?
It's okay, just go with it.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Thank you. And I'm also grateful for John and the meditation. I know that the meditation is important for all of us, but really, whomever is speaking feeds off of the meditation. It prepares us to be one with all that is. So today we're going to talk a little bit about spiritual discernment. You know what discernment is? It's like that lady Susan who had this boyfriend that proposed to her. And she said, well, you know I like the simple things in life. I just don't want one for a husband. So that's what discernment is. Now, I know in all religions we have cliches. Unity has its cliches, but even Buddhism has their cliches, and one of which is, if you see Buddha on the path, kill him. So what this means, it's about spiritual discernment. It means if you enhance your spiritual quest on somebody else's spiritual script, it's no good. Run. Bury it. Because each of you is a unique expression in the mind of God. We're all here together because we vibrate at the same level and we have generally the same spiritual need. But I promise you that Jim Cobalt is going to have a whole different spiritual path than Venice. It's a given, because you each had a childhood that's different from one another. You each came in with a contract with the divine spirit to learn some lesson, to express some holiness. And it's just going to be different, but yet we're here together seeking the same thing. So Proverbs 20:12 tells us, ears that hear and eyes that see, the Lord God has made them both. Now Martha Graham has this thing to say, and if you don't know who Martha Graham is, she's this famous choreographer from the 1920s, and she grew up in upstate New York, and she's written a book that as a small child she was able to see the nature elements, the fairies and so forth, and she carried that fae quality with her throughout her life. And she was an extremely famous choreographer. But this is what she has to say. There is a vitality, a life force and energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it would be lost forever. So we need you. God needs you to express whatever it is you came here to express. So don't hold back, no fears. Just, it's like that song from the Unity hymnal, weave us together. If your thread is taken out of the equation, it's a duller tapestry. It has lost some shimmer, some expression. So you each need to be true to who you are. So this statement of Martha Graham's is profound. It doesn't matter what path you're on, it matters that you're on a path. Because your unique expression is vital. You are a transmitter of light, which God knows the world needs right now. But you're a transmitter of light, especially to those that vibrate to your expression. To the folks that are your tribe. because together we're a cluster of interconnected light that is healing the planet. If you could see the planet as a whole, it would be a grid, and at each intersection, someone's represented as a light. We need the light of the world right now because light is stronger than darkness. It's your obligation to express yourself fully. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world." So this isn't new stuff. There's a truth in every spiritual path, but only we can know what resonates to the place and time in which we find ourselves right now. Yesterday it was different, tomorrow it'll be different, but here's where you are, and there's a truth that serves you right now. It's like you read a book, and then 5 years later you pick up that book, and you see things you've never seen before. But don't you know you've read it? So we're each opening to a new truth for where we are in time. You know, it's like this atheist guy who's swimming in the ocean, and he looks up and he sees the shark coming right at him. And so he starts hollering, "Help me, help me." And he hears this voice and it says, "Why should I help you? You don't even believe in me." So the guy says, "If you can make that shark believe in you, I'll believe in you." So he looks, and it looks like the shark's crying. So he's thinking, I may have to do this believing stuff. So he looks, and he looks like the shark's making the sign of the cross. And his eyes open, so he swims a little bit closer, but still not in too much danger. And he hears the shark saying, "Bless us, O Lord, for these thy gifts which we are about to receive." So, wherever we find ourselves, in good moments or in challenging moments, truth will be revealed to us as appropriate for that very situation. You know, all paths come from God, and each has a truth to offer that's right for someone. And I'm not going to sit in condemnation of somebody else and their expression of truth that helps them where they are right now. It may not be my path, but it's certainly theirs. And all paths do lead to God. So we're evolving, and the path that fits your need today may not fit your need tomorrow. And we take eternal truth and we've absorbed it and move on to face the next stage of where we're going to go. But you don't have to struggle to grow. You know, it's like a 2-year-old is not going to struggle to be 3. And pretty soon he's gone from 2 to the potty-trained 3-year-old. And how did it happen? Well, there he is. So people endow what is familiar with a new, ever-evolving meaning. So what's familiar in your life changes. You see the truth of what is happening differently than you did 5 minutes ago. It reminds me of when I was very young, I met this elderly lady by accident, and she was, as I look back, she was so profound. And she was saying that when something occurs in her life that causes her to be shocked or stunned by what someone's saying, that she repeats this phrase in her head, and it always helps her see beyond what is apparent in front of her. And it is, "What have we now?" Meaning, wait, what is the truth of this? And that keeps us from sitting in judgment and seeing what the gift is there for us. So anyway, by doing this changing of meaning, it's releasing us from the expected familiar into something unforeseeable and wonderful. And it's in this unfamiliar realm That we find new possibilities. They were always there, we just didn't see them. And it's in the unknown that we find hope and proof that all the differences between us and all the forces that try to divide us will never be as strong as the love that unites us. So we begin to learn and tailor a script that serves us where we are right now. And we take some of this and some of that, and it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together that ultimately makes a whole picture, bit by bit, and it's okay. That's how we learn. So this saying about if you meet Buddha on the path means to me that you can take the truths from a path, just don't make it rigidly about the path. It's about the truth that works for you at the time that you need it. See, it's like this pious monk that was so by the book in his faith. Everything that it said, every jot and tittle, he crossed every T, dotted every I. I mean, he was on the mark. So he dies, and of course he meets St. Peter at the pearly gate, and he's thinking, I am the stuff. He gets to meet me, and I was perfection. So St. Peter says, well, son, that is all well and good, but there are some things you may have misunderstood. He said, I have your holy book right here, and I want you to read this word. So the monk looks at it, and he says, what? What? And he starts crying. He said, it doesn't say celibate, it says celebrate. So loosen up a little here, people. Have some fun. So the spiritual path is not a self-improvement project. It is a self-awareness project. So don't get so caught up in the truth that you forget about the spirit of truth. And we see this in the world constantly, that they're just forget about what is the truth principle behind their religion. Let's make it about the rigid rules. So another red flag about a specific path is, if it's about a personality rather than the spirit of the truth, run. Kill the messenger. Beware of the master who says he is master. Now we've all seen that. I've been around enough to see some of these guys, slick willies, oh my goodness, they're just snake oil salesmen. They sit up there, I've seen them in churches. I'm surprised they're not wearing a robe along with their beard so that they can look like Jesus Christ himself. I've heard them say things like, before you pray, face to the east, face to the west, face to the north, flip upside down and kiss the Blarney Stone. Just do whatever I say and it's going to make it perfect. So this is like, beware of the master that says he's a master. Because when the discipline that they're offering is giving you the power to something out there, it's not the truth. It has to be the power within here. All true paths encourage you to find your own power. It's when the master that says he's a master is manipulating something so you'll look to him for truth. Or her. So the spiritual disciplines that are the truth, that teach you to use your true self and go within, meditation being the key. Every great religion offers you to use the tool of meditation. And anything that encourages contemplation rings true with me. So as you approach your spiritual quest, life as you know it will change so very subtly. You're not setting out to change it, it just happens. It's like the 2-year-old becoming the 3-year-old. It just happens. It's what is. So thus it is with us. As we move forward in our understanding, we won't even be able to resonate with that kid that was back then. We have evolved into a more mature spiritual being. We didn't try. You know, it's like moving from kindergarten into the first grade, and in that process you learn the alphabet. Well, you can be in an accident, get hit upside the head, get amnesia, don't know who you are, but you won't forget the alphabet. So that's what happens with the spiritual truths that we learn. They're placed in here somewhere in a compartment, and then when something happens, you need the understanding to face what you're facing. That spiritual truth will come back to you. You know, you may be going from one place to another, but the truth, the meat of the matter will stick with you. So as we refine and we evolve, everything changes without our even choosing to. Our desires are different. We begin to appreciate cleaner eating, cleaner living. But we didn't force this on ourselves. It's just what happens as we evolve in our spirituality. That meditation is really important. So the basic of our energy system, the chakra system, are that the lower chakras are our physical expression. What has happened in the physical world that affects us. The lowest chakra is about survival. The next two are about sexuality and possessions and power. And then we have the heart chakra, the liaison chakra, where love is channeled. So in meditation, this is what we do. People will guide you to say, center yourself, breathe in and breathe up and breathe out. And so what you're doing is taking that energy that's circulating in the physical channels and then bringing it up and purifying it. And then the upper three levels have to do with spirituality and your communication with the universe. So in meditation, you're bringing the energy up, breathing it in, and recirculating. And every time you recirculate, you're purifying that energy. So that's why, as we evolve in our spirituality, we're just vibrating to cleaner living, because unbeknown to ourselves, we purified our own energy. So that's why meditation and contemplation are a discipline in every true path. There are formal paths, there are churches like this and other churches, there are discussion groups. Even your significant other is a spiritual path, because they will tell you things about yourself you never even wanted to know. So the most spiritual figures were, at their core, totally human, just like you, and just like me, and just like the stranger on the bus. Remember the song, What If God Were One of Us? God is one of us. God is all of us. So they accepted truths and forgave the universe for a creation of a thoroughly tangled, jumbled variety of disciplines, because they knew there were a thoroughly tangled, jumbled variety of human beings, unique expressions from the heart of God. So Thomas More says, when we allow ourselves to exist truly and fully, we sting the world. We sting the world with our vision, and we challenge it with our own way of being. Edward Young says, we're all born originals. Why are so many dying as copies? So, I leave you with this thought about following your bliss. We all evolve, paths change, and bliss is interpreted every second of your ever-evolving life. So become aware through meditation. Just become aware and listen to the within and be in contact with your true self and express it. Because we need it. We need to have this variety of ways of life. God needs to have this variety of ways of life. And if you're not expressing your true self, you're not only cheating yourself, you're cheating the universe of the pleasure which is the unique you. So become deeply aware of your inner voice and learn from the truth that resonates only within you. Namaste.